it's one thing to sell somebody security. It's another thing to make sure that those security protocols are actually truly fully rolled out. So, as many of you guys know, well, some of you may not know this, but Vector Choice does our IT. And the company we had before talked a great game. I mean, I was in those meetings and I said, guys, it's the worst thing to say from me being a prospect and saving money, to say to someone trying to sell you something, look, I'm not looking for cheap. I'm looking for right. In other words, I'm looking for good. So I said to them, look, I'm not trying to be cheap about this. I have to make sure we're secure just based on what we do. If I got breached, I'd never hear the end of it. Right. And so I say this to them, and they sold us a big, glorious package of, maybe not compliance. We didn't have that conversation, but advanced cyber protections. But come to find out, not all of those things were actually implemented. And I had, John, as you know, a lot of risk. After John dug in, he sat down with me. He said, are you aware of this, that, the other? He told me a couple of things. I said, no, I wasn't aware of it. So here is this MSP. And you're talking, look, guys, I'm a buyer of your services. I'm a CEO of a company with over 100 employees. We have big transaction. I've got real risk I've got to be aware of. And, what I can't know, even what I do, I still can't know if my MSP is doing what they should. I don't know where my risks are. And I think part of what you want to do, like Wade, when you're saying this, is you become more educated. That way you can educate your customers as to what the real true risk is, because there are a lot of, make a quick buck shops out there that just want to sell somebody something, but don't want to educate their customers. And I'm going down a little bit of a rant here, but like, even you take insurance, like we are now focusing on insurance as a campaign for our producers and accelerators members, right? So every quarter we have a theme, and right now the quarter's theme is a campaign where we're getting our MSP members to go to their clients and say, hey, give me your cyber liability insurance policy, or not give it to me, but like connect me with your insurance broker or agent. And I want to make sure that we're doing everything you need to be doing that's outlined in that policy. Okay. And shockingly, what we're finding is a lot of the people who sold the client the policy, they are not intelligent and knowledgeable enough to sit down with an IT person and say to that IT person, here's what you need to implement. And I'm shocked by that. It's like, wait a minute, you just sold somebody an insurance policy and you aren't knowledgeable enough to just sit down and say, let me go over the basic requirements. So I think, Wade, your point or your question reveals a much bigger opportunity for everybody on this call, not just for the money. And I'm going to explain this gun money image here in a second, not just for the money, but I also think, and I know this is true of you guys, you truly care about your customers. You truly want to help them. You truly want to protect them. I know that is in the DNA of almost every MSP. I mean, there's a couple assholes out there, but for most of you, I mean, the vast majority of you really care. And so if you really care about your customers, it's critical that you understand compliance and security and risk. And you allow your clients to make that decision for themselves, like a fully informed decision. And the reason Will's got this, I put this up here. So as some of you know, we've done this twice now. Robert Herjavec, who's the nice shark on Shark Tank, who is now the CEO of Sedaris, which is it's over $1 billion in revenue, MSSP, right? We went to his office twice and hung out for the day and talked to his team. The first time I went out to Robert's office, Will, were you there? I forget.
Not the first time. The second time I was.
Yeah, but the first time we went out, it was quite a while ago. I think it was over 8-9 years ago or something like that. And I was talking to one of his senior leaders about marketing MSSP services. And it was hot then. It's gotten like white hot now. And he said something to the effect, and I am paraphrasing, the reason they're selling MSSP services is because it's easier to sell with a loaded gun than a great sales pitch. What he means by that is he's not the one holding the gun. The insurance companies are holding a gun to your client's head saying, you need to be compliant. The government is holding a gun to your client's head saying, you better be compliant or you're going to get fines and, go out of business. And I'm not saying they're wrong for it. I'm just saying it's, there are customers of your customers who are going to their MSP and saying, look, I got to make sure that, or to whoever, whatever, their vendors, and saying, I need to make sure you're compliant because I don't want to get breached as a byproduct because you're holding our data and you're transacting with us. And so compliance now is you're not holding the gun. What you're selling is the bulletproof vest. What you're selling is the, don't even get into a firefight in the first place kind of deal, right? So the point is there's money to be made because it's a required to buy, just like you can't drive a car. You're not supposed to drive a car without insurance, right? Well, there are more and more businesses, whether it's processing credit cards, hosting PII, personally identifiable information. These are things that are required now, that gun to the head that they have to do, and they have to spend money on it, and they're going to spend it somewhere. And ideally, it should be with you.